Here's the thing, I want ServiceTitan to have competition. Competition is good for consumers. But this document makes me very concerned for your health, FieldEdge. What's going on, everybody? It's Richard Koberg here, the Blue Collar Nerd. Hey, so, you guys like drama? Somebody sent this document over to me. This is a document from FieldEdge about ServiceTitan. So it's a ServiceTitan versus FieldEdge document that FieldEdge apparently sends out to its prospect clients. Now, full disclosure here, I do use ServiceTitan. I don't work for them or anything, but I'm a ServiceTitan user myself. FieldEdge I have no experience with. I don't know anything about the product. This video has nothing to do with the product FieldEdge, but I am probably going to be talking about the company FieldEdge, the marketing team FieldEdge, the sales team FieldEdge, because you know, I have some thoughts. Now, I haven't read this entire document. I skimmed it a little bit, and then as soon as I realized I want to make a video about it, I stopped. So I want all of this to be as new, fresh, and authentic as possible, so let's go through it. So FieldEdge, pioneers of cutting-edge technology. Competitors will come and go, but our long history in the field service industry and phenomenal product have launched us to levels above the rest, especially ServiceTitan. Now, that to me, that is just such an arrogant thing. Competitors will come and go. That's so arrogant. That's what Blockbuster said about Netflix. Just because you've been around for a long time, and I don't even know, has FieldEdge been around for a long time? I'm gonna take their word for it and say that they have. Maybe they're like a spin-off of some company that's been around for a while. I think that might actually be the case. But being around for a long time does not make you immortal, okay? If anything, it's a dangerous spot to be in. It makes you complacent. It makes you feel like nobody's a threat to you. I assure you, ServiceTitan's a threat to you. FieldEdge was founded by contractors back in 1979. Okay, so there you have it. They've been around for a while. Two brothers, George and Glenn Slay, were the first to invent service management software for the mechanical contractor space. Sure. I mean, I'm not going to fact check you on that, so sure. Our platform has evolved for nearly 40 years to lead the industry in innovation. As a result, FieldEdge is our fourth generation SaaS product, SaaS, that stands for Software as a Service if you weren't aware. Okay, and then they have this little timeline. 1996, developed the first dispatch board. Now, what do you mean the first digital dispatch board? Because I assure you dispatch boards existed before 1996. Whatever. 2008 developed the first native mobile app. Okay, so you're definitely leaving out important words, right? Because there were definitely mobile apps before 2008. Maybe you developed the first contractor service software native app, but you know, there's important words. You gotta put those words in here. 20 plus years average employee industry experience. I guess they're saying that they hire a lot of people within the company that have a lot of industry experience. That's a good thing to have, but I don't know that I necessarily want that to be the average. You do need software people in a software company. That's pretty important. Industry people also, yes, definitely important as well. But if 20 plus years is the average, I mean, it's kind of like, are there enough software people? There's got to be some software people here. People who are software people and industry experience people definitely exist. Okay, they definitely exist, but they're rare. They're unicorns. There's not a whole lot of them. 4,000 plus number of FieldEdge customers. Okay, so far their point is just, we've been around a long time, which to me, that's meaningless. And if anything, kind of a bad thing, especially the way that they seem to be thinking about it, which is like, competitors come and go, we're the guys, we've been around forever, we're invincible. Okay, then in big bold letters here, ServiceTitan, overpromised and underdelivered. ServiceTitan has wasted time trying to sell to a variety of different industries with no core focus, under the name Links Logic since 2007. Okay, so like I said, this is my first time truly reading this document. I haven't super looked into the background of what ServiceTitan was before it was ServiceTitan, what Ara and Vahe had going on before they decided that this was the route that they were taking, or what. I mean, I don't know if it was even Ara and Vahe, maybe there was some sort of buy. I don't know anything about this. In any case, it's irrelevant, because if they wasted time in the past, they're where they are now. They claim to help blue-collar small business owners, but turn down companies with less than 8 trucks. Now that at least used to be true. I don't know if that's still the cutoff, or if they even have a cutoff at all anymore, but at some point ServiceTitan did have a certain size company that you had to be before they were willing to work with you. And you know, I get it, that kind of sucks if you were one of those with less than 8 trucks, but that is just a strategy that they took on purpose, right? I mean, they just had to narrow down their client base. Like sometimes, you know, as a contractor, it's better to narrow down your service area when you have a limited amount of resources, and when you're a new company, a startup like ServiceTitan is, and especially was, then you have to decide who your avatar is and be very specific about that for a while because you have limited resources. Okay, and then they have another like set of boxes here, kind of like that timeline we just went through. Copied our legacy product ESC to build their platform. Okay, ESC, I've at least heard that around, right? So FieldEdge is, I guess, a spin-off of ESC. The more you know. Now that's a bold claim, right? Copied our legacy product. What do you mean by that? Because if they truly copied it, like legally copied it, like your code, they just kind of ripped it and now that's their code, that's super illegal, and you would have won a lawsuit if that was truly the case. So if by copied you mean they also made a service platform, a service software, that's not what that is. But again, I don't know the history behind that, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that one. Venture backed, so they only care about their investors. They are being so aggressive. Okay, yes, ServiceTitan is definitely backed by venture capital. We all have heard about that. They're on series. I don't know what series they're on, but they've got a lot of venture capital behind them. So yes, they do answer to investors. But I mean, the thing about venture capital is they're not necessarily on the hook for that money. The venture capitalist will go in and invest the money in hopes of getting a return, but they're not guaranteed a return. Yes, obviously ServiceTitan has to worry about their investors. It's important that their investors are happy so that they can hopefully get more and more capital going, and they can continue to have a good relationship with their investors who have had so much faith in them. But to care about their investors, they have to be profitable. And if they build shitty software, they're not going to be profitable because nobody's going to use them. So them being accountable to venture capital, I mean, I don't really see that as being a bad thing. That ultimately means that they're accountable to their clients. Notoriously spread lies about us and other competitors. Do they? I mean, I don't know. You guys have this document, FieldEdge. I haven't seen a document like this from ServiceTitan. Now, if ServiceTitan has a document like this, please send it to me. I'm having a great time. Let's do this. I could do this all day long. But I haven't seen one. I've only seen yours, FieldEdge. So, you know, only have about 1,000 customers using their software. That's not right. That can't be right. And that's starting to get into what I was seeing when I was skimming this, which is that this document is super outdated. Let's compare features next. FieldEdge versus ServiceTitan, accounting/QuickBooks. Our lead architect wrote his own accounting software and pioneered the first QuickBooks integration for service management software back in the 90s. Over the years, our integration has been refined, and now we have the only real-time integration on the market. When the office creates a new customer in FieldEdge, it will automatically create the same record in QuickBooks. No competitor can do that. As a result of our superior integration, you can edit invoices in FieldEdge after they have been posted to QuickBooks, handle multiple business units in one QuickBooks file. ServiceTitan failures. Every invoice has to be manually added to a batch, which then has to be scheduled to sync with QuickBooks. Invoices are not editable after they've been posted to QuickBooks. No real-time visibility into your financials. You don't know where you stand financially because the batch sync integration is a tedious process which causes errors, delays, and duplicate entries into QuickBooks. No real-time AR balance visibility. Okay, so some of this is still true. The way they're touting it, it sounds like, and again, I have no experience with FieldEdge, but it sounds like they have a two-way integration, which ServiceTitan is working on, has been working on for a while, but is still not live to my knowledge right now. So ServiceTitan pushes into QuickBooks, but that's it. It is a one-way, it will push. It seems like with FieldEdge, at least the way they're describing it, that it is a two-way integration. So if you change something in QuickBooks, that will change it in FieldEdge, and vice versa, push and pull. So if that's true, and FieldEdge already has that, they are ahead in that category, although ServiceTitan's coming out with that pretty soon. Now, every invoice has to be manually added to a batch in ServiceTitan. That hasn't been true for a while. They have automatic batching now. All right, mobile. If the ratings of our app versus ServiceTitan's app don't speak for themselves, below are other reasons why their mobile technology doesn't stand a chance against ours. And they have a screenshot of, I guess, the ratings out of the App Store. These fluctuate, and this has to be outdated because I looked at ServiceTitan's mobile app ratings fairly recently, and it was definitely higher than 3.1. So let's put up on the screen what those are now. I'm not going to do that live on the spot, but I'm going to look those up when I'm editing, and I'm going to put those on the screen now, whatever they are. I'll put them up. But even if it's flopped around, like, take that with a grain of salt. Those things fluctuate, and your reviews from older legacy versions of your product kind of stick with you for a while in the App Store, I believe. So it's not a super fair comparison because it's always changing so fast. All right, now FieldEdge benefits and ServiceTitan failures on the mobile side. Native mobile app with full offline mode allows technicians to complete jobs in areas with little to no cell coverage. Pioneer in the space with the first native mobile app in 2008. You guys gotta stop this. It doesn't matter that you were the first at it. It just doesn't matter. Should every HVAC contractor sell Carrier equipment because Carrier created the first air conditioner? Like, what? It doesn't matter. All customer history is safely stored within the mobile app. Technicians are able to view full history without needing to call the office. Seems like this was written before the history tab was a thing in ServiceTitan's mobile app, but that is a thing now. Even with new releases, the app is always in compliance with App Store standards. Not true for ServiceTitan. Okay, you're gonna have to cite some examples on that because Apple is very strict about their standards. You do not get in the App Store if you do not meet App Store standards. That's it. It's actually a huge reason why updates can take a while on mobile apps and why a lot of apps don't get put in the App Store for a very long time because there's very strict standards. It takes a long time to go through that process. So if you're not compliant, you just don't get in. So without specific examples of what rules they're breaking or were breaking or whatever, I mean, I'm gonna have to call BS on that. You've got to tell me what the problem is. Quick response time creates an enjoyable user experience. Sure, I agree. Again, I've not used FieldEdge, so I don't know how their response time compares with ServiceTitan's, but if you get quick response time, awesome. That does create an enjoyable user experience, I agree. With FieldEdge, you can collect payments in the field. Yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. Okay, ServiceTitan failures. Native mobile app is consistently slow and crashes often, not devoting time or resources to creating a native mobile app that works, so they are encouraging the use of their mobile web app. Okay, so a lot of you youngsters may not remember this. I've been on ServiceTitan since 2015, and this actually used to be true, but it hasn't been true for a long time. The ServiceTitan app that we have today, that's their 2.0 app. There was a ServiceTitan 1.0 mobile app, and it was just dirt nasty garbage. So there was a ServiceTitan app in the App Store, but it wasn't what I would call a native app, and it's not, I guess, what FieldEdge considers a native app. It was just basically a shell for a web page. So when you used that app, you were basically just pulling up the mobile side of ServiceTitan up on a web page, and that was it. And it didn't work very well at all. They would actually tell you a lot of the time not to use it. If you had any sort of problem, they would be like, you know what, just don't use it. Use the mobile version of Google Chrome, specifically Google Chrome, I remember this, and go to the web app there. So yeah, that was awful. I'll give you that, FieldEdge. That was crap. But the ServiceTitan 1.0 app was sunsetted, which is the flowery industry software term for killed, in I believe 2016. So I only dealt with that for a year, a little bit less actually, because it was towards the end of 2015. And in 2016, I think we got a earlier version, but a version of the 2.0 app that we have today, which is a much better app. Mobile web app cannot be used offline. I don't think that's true anymore either. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I know at least basic functions will still work offline, but there's probably some things that you can't do while offline, especially process a payment. I don't think that's gonna work offline. To be honest, I don't know, so I'm not gonna speak too much on that. Web app brings up safety concerns and data security is not guaranteed. Again, big claim. If you're gonna throw something like that out there, you have to back it up. What do you mean? Because from what I've seen, ServiceTitan takes security pretty seriously. They have, plenty of redundancy in their data backups and everything like that. Data security, I mean, recently they've been switching their security systems over, all that stuff that you've seen with having to create passwords with specific strength standards and all of that stuff. That's all pretty recent. But from what I've seen, ServiceTitan's security, yeah, it had some room for improvement. It's getting better now. I don't know what FieldEdge's security systems are or how they compare, so I'm not going to try and compare them. But to throw out a scare tactic like that, you better back it up. ServiceTitan forces customers to use tablets over smartphones as their web app does not perform well on phones. Again, that hasn't been true for years, 2016, 17, 18, 19, at least 3 years, which is like an eon in software terms. Web app usability is extremely poor and not intuitive like a native app. Not true anymore. Falsely claim we do not have integrated payments in our mobile app. Maybe they falsely claimed that. Again, it's something I can't speak to because I've never heard that. That's your word versus theirs. And I don't know the FieldEdge product well enough to say that they do or don't have anything really. All right, dispatching. FieldEdge's dispatch board uses an intelligent algorithm for capacity planning based on technician skill set, which features day, shift, and 7-day dispatch views, which all have drag and drop functionality. We also provide real-time technician tracking via our GPS integration with ArgoTrack. Okay, so the ServiceTitan dispatch board also has drag and drop functionality. I don't know if they're comparing to an earlier version. I honestly don't remember a version of the dispatch board that didn't have that, but maybe it existed. It's been a while. Provide real-time GPS tracking. That's true of ServiceTitan 2, and you don't need to use ArgoTrack. It'll just track them through the native GPS on the device. ServiceTitan's current dispatch board was copied from our legacy product, ESC. They do not have a weekly view on the dispatch board, and falsely claim that we do not have real-time GPS integration. Now, ServiceTitan's dispatch board is just a daily view, I'll give them that, but they do also have that schedule board. I mean, I don't really use that schedule tab much, but it is there and it does give you a different overview of what your schedule looks like if that's something that you feel like you need. Copied from our legacy product, I mean, I'm sure it does look similar, but it's a dispatch board. There's only so many ways to do it. Did FieldEdge copy it off of some guy's whiteboard in the 70s? Like, what's copying mean? It's a dispatch board. Now, the stuff about their dispatch board using an algorithm for capacity planning and stuff, that would be pretty cool if it works, and ServiceTitan's working on that stuff, and they're very interested in AI and machine learning. I feel like, again, I hate to make these sorts of allegations because I've not used FieldEdge. Maybe they have a really good AI system that's able to intelligently do capacity planning and stuff, but that's hard and expensive, and I feel like I would know about it if somebody else had that. So I'm sure that they have some version of it, but for it to be good, I mean, for it to be really good, we're talking AI, we're talking machine learning, we're talking pretty cutting edge, recent, expensive stuff that's not easy to do. So if they truly have that, I'd love to see what it looks like because that's amazing. That's stuff that I see ServiceTitan working on, but it's still pretty out there. It's still, years in the future as far as true, full, like AI stuff. All right, the next section. The right choice is clear. In addition to the items above, ServiceTitan software is clunky, not intuitive, and hard to navigate. They can't handle commercial jobs and bundle the costs of integrations into their overall fee, so their customers are unaware of the premium prices they are being charged. Bundle the cost of integrations into their overall fee. That's how it has to work. I mean, ServiceTitan's starting to sell paid extensions now, so like Marketing Pro, Phones Pro. Those are extensions that you can pay for that tack onto the software, but you don't have to have them. They are separate. I'm assuming FieldEdge is saying that they already had that model, so it was more modular to begin with, which is fine, but I mean, it's just a business model. It doesn't make one superior to the other, really. They bundle the cost of integrations into their overall fee. Of course, I mean, everybody bundles all of their costs into their overall fee. That's how capitalism works. ServiceTitan software being clunky, not intuitive, hard to navigate, can't handle commercial jobs. I mean, clunky, not intuitive, I guess that's all subjective. There's been a whole lot of changes since this document was written because clearly this document is at least 3 years old. We at FieldEdge know how important the success of your business is. Whether you do residential or commercial work, trust us to take care of you. So look, like I've said over and over again, I've not used FieldEdge. I have no opinion on FieldEdge as a software. Maybe it's amazing, maybe it's garbage, I have no idea. But I do have opinions about this document. This to me just makes the company look like such a crybaby. It's just a bunch of, we were here first, you copied us, you guys are cheating. It's foolish, it's silly. I mean, I train specifically against this type of sales tactic at my company. I get that it is a sales tactic and it can work in some scenarios, and I'm not saying that it's immoral or anything like that. But I do think it just makes you look slimy. Like, talking the competition down, to me, is something you do when you can't sell yourself up enough. It should always be about here's what we have, not about here's what they don't have and what they did and all that stuff. I also really don't get how they're still sending this document out to people. The person who sent this to me said that it was sent like last week, like 2019, they got this document. And it is very outdated. It has very old information. So they're making claims within this document about ServiceTitan spreading lies about them, but they're explicitly spreading lies. They're saying that this stuff is currently the case, and it's just not. There's only like two possibilities here, right? Either they're knowingly spreading this very outdated information, which gross, or they're not paying close enough attention to know that this information isn't accurate anymore, which I can to a degree understand not worrying too much about what the competition is doing. But if that's your mindset, then you don't get to have this document, right? Like, you're clearly very worried about what the competition is doing if you have this document, and so it needs to be accurate. FieldEdge higher ups, if you're watching this, this is a bad look, guys. This is a bad look. You should stop sending this out. It just seems petty, it seems childish, it's not a good look. If competitors come and go and your product is so much better than ServiceTitan's, then why do you need this document? I mean, that's just the question that people are gonna ask themselves when they read this. And it being so outdated, it's just kind of an insult to the intelligence of the person you're sending this to. It's an insult to the intelligence of your potential client, because you're just assuming that they're gonna take all this at face value and they're not gonna look into it at all. They're not gonna do any research. They're not gonna get a demo from ServiceTitan. They're not gonna ask around people who use other softwares. Of course they are. So when they see that all of this data is so old or just inaccurate, because they don't know it's old, as far as they know you're just lying because they haven't seen 2015 ServiceTitan, it's gonna make you look so bad. I can't imagine that you're actually helping yourselves by sending this thing out. Here's the thing, I want ServiceTitan to have competition. Competition is good for consumers, but this document makes me very concerned for your health, FieldEdge. This document to me has all the signs of a company that is doomed. Talking about big, major, threatening competitors like they're no big deal because we've been doing this for a long time. That's a bad sign. Acting like you're not worried about a competitor but having an entire 5-page document dedicated to trash talking them, that's a bad sign. Stomping your feet and crossing your arms and acting upset instead of just making your product obviously superior, that's a bad sign. Tell me what you guys think. I really want a discussion about this one. I want to hear your input. If you've used FieldEdge and you have an opinion on the product itself, I'd love to hear that, because like I said, I don't. If you've gotten this document, I'd love to hear from you. And what do you guys think about this sort of thing? Is this a slimy tactic? Is this fine? Let me hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new content coming out. I'd super appreciate it. That really helps my channel out, helps me grow. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.